Hello, friends. Welcome to another episode of Aslan Speaks. I've had a lot of people reach out to me about twin flames and ask me a lot of questions about twin flame relationships. And first and foremost, if you're interested in learning about twin flames, or you think you met your twin flame and you want to understand it in a better and better comprehension of what a twin flame is, or a karmic or soulmate relationship is, I recommend you checking out my book, Hidden Knowledge Gained Wisdom. It's on Amazon, and I dive really deep, and I also share my own journey with my twin. Now, before I begin, guys, we got to ask ourselves the hard question, because I come across a lot of people who think they met their twin and they really haven't met their twin, or they think they met their soulmate or that divine partner, and really they haven't. You got to ask yourself, is my connection with this person, is it an obsession? Is it a figment of my imagination? Am I dotting all the I's and crossing all the T's to make this person fit? And maybe that person never meant to be fit in the first place. Because, guys, in love and in relationships, we get delusional. But for those who have met their twin flames, I bless you all. And some of you guys are with your twin flames right now. And if you are, good luck with that. And I wish you the best. But this video is more for those who met that divine partner, their divine counterpart, or their twin flame, and they're dealing with separation. They're dealing with that loss. And how do you deal with that pain, that hurt? Because essentially, when you separate from your twin flame, it's like you lose a part of you, because in essence you are, because they are a part of your soul. So when they leave your life, or you guys are no longer talking, or it's too painful to even think about them, it's a struggle. And how do you get back to being normal? How do you get back to dating again? Because let's face it, when you meet a twin flame and you know that there's that type of awesome, powerful connection out there, all the other relationships that you meet or enter into are not as powerful, not as meaningful. And that's a struggle, guys. I recently, I share my own pain and hurt and struggles in this journey, especially with my own relationships with you guys, so you don't have to repeat the same mistakes that I have. You don't have to go through those same ups and downs that I have. Now, I recently got out of a relationship, and I thought she was like my divine counterpart. She, I'm pretty sure she was. When it was good, guys. So when you're dealing with separation, it's like you're dealing with like grief, like you almost, like someone passed away on you almost. It's that painful, it's that hurtful, it's that much of a struggle. You may have had a normal life before this particular partner, may it be male or female, entered your life, and it was going good, and it was magical. It was began as a healthy relationship, and then somewhere down the road it became too much, and you guys were forced apart. And I've been there, especially when you have a just amazing connection with somebody and you love someone so deeply. And usually with a twin flame relationship, you have never loved a person that way or that deeply ever before. You never wanted someone so close to you or so badly in your life. You would drop anything, even if you had things that were important, you would drop it to make sure to be with your twin flame. And now that person is no longer in your life, and how do you bounce back from that? So first, it's understanding the stages of a twin flame's journey. And in my book, I dive deep on the stages of the twin flame journey. And I just wrote some notes down. So Stage one of a twin flame journey is the awakening process, or you meeting your twin flame. And that is like, you're like, wow, I can't believe I met a person like this. And it's like, it's kind of like the butterflies in your stomach moment in your life where you meet your twin and you're like, wow, this is amazing. And you don't know why you guys are brought together. You just know there's something more deeper there, that you're brought into each other's lives for a reason. And then stage two, the conflict and the testing phase. So usually you go through your honeymoon phase where everything's sunshine and rainbows, but then after you get through that, you guys go through the testing phase, the conflict phase. One, either you're more awake or she or he are more awake than the other. One's usually more awake than the other. One may realize that you're their divine counterpart twin flame, and the one may not realize it at all. But usually after the honeymoon phase, there's the testing phase where they start to do things that push your buttons. And depending on how you react to the situation or the conflict that arises in your relationship, depends if you still are with that person or not. Because they may test you or push your buttons so badly that it drives a wedge in your relationship, or they may, there's so much conflict that you can't get back to that lovey-dovey honeymoon phase again. You know, maybe they've broken your trust. And you're like, how can I love this person again if they broke my trust? And sometimes they do it purposely, where they push your buttons because they want to see how you're going to react. Sometimes they unknowingly push your buttons, because often sometimes in a twin flame relationship or a divine counterpart relationship, they're sitting there thinking, wow, this person's too good to be true. Wow, I can't believe I got a person like this. But then something in them thinks that they're not good enough, or that I don't know how to say it. Long story short, it's the conflict stage, or they'll start self-sabotaging the relationship. And it's a really tough phase, guys. Stage 2 and 3 are the same. It's like stage 2 is like conflict, it's the testing phase. And then stage 3 is the crises phase. There's something that pops up. You know, maybe it's another ex that pops up in the relationship, that love triangle, you know, that tries to pull your partner back to them. Or maybe they do something that's so toxic that just burns the bridge of the relationship. There's a crisis that arises. And for every person, it's different. And then it's how you deal with that crisis. Sometimes that crisis is so overwhelming that you can't get back to that original love, that original amazingness, that honeymoon phase. And then after the crisis, usually when that crisis or that catalyst moment that arises in your life, usually it causes a rift, it causes a breakup. Either you caused it, and also you got to look at yourself. Did you cause the crisis? Because often we, in relationships, unknowingly, depending on how we react to a situation, can cause a breakup. And it's both of you. You got to look at yourself as well. You know, for me, in my last relationship, I wasn't as happy as I was happy in the relationship, but there were certain things that I wasn't getting out of my partner, or certain expectations in the relationship that I had that I wanted. And time and time again, I would get promises, but no action behind it. So a lot of empty promises, broken promises. And that caused a rift between me and my partner. And then over time, I was like, no, I don't want to be with somebody even if it was amazing and magical, and I knew I loved the crap out of her. I didn't want to be with somebody that at the end of the day, I was having sleepless nights. I wasn't quite happy. So when the crisis arises, I just, my own intuition, I pushed her away. I said, no, I'm breaking up with you. And if I would have just handled that situation differently and just instead of going, hey, we're breaking up, get your stuff, move out of my house. I could have been like, hey, let's sit down and talk in a calm, collective manner. And hey, why, guys, this is tough for me to talk about. Instead of reacting like, hey, let's break up, and acting out anger and fear, I could have sat down with her instead of being harsh and then, hey, these are the things I want in our relationship, and they're not happening. And then what are the things that you want in this relationship, and how can I be a better partner to you, and then talk it through instead of reacting and causing that crisis. And then usually when that crisis arises, for me it was, hey, something happened and I wasn't happy with. She made a choice that I didn't agree with, and I said, hey, no, choose this, and she chose another path, and I said, if you choose that path, basically I said, then we're done. And she chose the other path. And I probably at the time I reacted out of anger. I should have sat down and talked to her in a calm, collected manner because I lost the love of my life. But then after that, the stage 4 is the runner and chaser dynamic. Usually one's a runner where they run away because the energy and the love and everything's so overwhelming that they can't handle it, so they run away. And then the one who's usually the person, the man or woman who knows that it's a divine connection is the chaser, who chases after the person. But chasing, all it does is it drives them farther and farther away, guys. So if you're a chaser, if you haven't talked to your twin in a long time or seen them, and you're constantly sending them text messages or him or her text messages or calls, and you say, hey, you're overwhelming your partner, and that's not good. And it's just going to drive them away. Your twin flame or divine counterpart has to come to you on their own 2 feet, so to speak, on their own will. You can't say the right thing or bribe them or, buy them a new car or anything like that. Or because if you attract your partner to you on false pretenses, like by buying them a car or buying them a house or whatever it may be, then they're coming to you for the wrong reasons. You want your twin or your divine counterpart to come to you out of love, that they just missed you so much that they want to be with you out of love, And then stage 5, the surrendering phase. And that's basically where you're in separation, you're no longer chasing, no longer running, and you just surrender the fact that you may have lost the love of your life. You may have lost your twin flame for the rest of your life. And then finally, the stage 6 is the reunion. And some people are blessed to have the reunion. Sometimes you guys got to let people go on their own path, and that's the hardest thing. The hardest thing is to know when hey, this person's your human being, that you're meant to be together, that the universe, God, spirit, whatever you want to call it, brought you guys into each other's lives for a reason, and that they're your person. And the hardest thing is when that, hey, this person not only touches my heart, my soul, and my mind, but just brings a greater joy into your life, and now you lost that joy. And that's the hardest thing, but you have to surrender and be okay with that person may never come into your life again. And then sometimes, like the last stage is reunion, is when you guys both separate, because sometimes all these crises and habits or these stages happen to us because we're not meant to be we're not ready for each other yet. But you got to sit on there and be like, well, maybe there's certain aspects of myself I need to work on. So you guys separate, and you may never have them back in your life again, but you separate to work on yourself, because you can never come to a reunion or become one with each other if you don't work on yourselves, guys. And that's the moral of the dealing with separation with your twin or your divine counterpart, is learning to be okay with the fact that they may never come back into your life. And that's hard. So I talked about the 6 stages the stages of a twin flame journey, but I dive deeper in my book. And then now I want to talk about the stages of grief. The stages of grief, because literally when you're in separation from your twin or your divine counterpart or whatever what resonates with you, it's like you lost a part of yourself. And guys, I'm just recovering from this. I was hurt so badly that I couldn't leave my couch for almost 2 months. And I would have temporary where I was ambitious and stuff, and then it would hit me like a ton of bricks, and I wouldn't want to leave my couch for 2, 3 days. So stage one of grief is denial or the blame. So you're sitting there like you're in denial of denial of the breakup. A lot of times we push the blame like he or she did this. It's her fault. It's her fault. Well, guys, you got to look at yourself as well. It's hard to do. Look at yourself. You can't just put all the blame. You got to take some of the blame for yourself. Like I stated earlier, when I was going through this phase, I did put the blame on her, and a lot of it. I'll be honest, she caused the breakup. I gave her plenty of opportunities, chance after chance after chance. But with me, it's 3 strikes and you're out. And as loving as I am, at the end of the day, I will never let someone walk all over me or take me for granted. Stage 2 is anger. So it kind of goes to stage 1 where you put the blame, but you're also angry. You're bitter. Like, why did this person hurt me so badly? Stage 3 is the bargaining. That's when you start talking to yourself and like, hey, maybe I can. You start talking to yourself like and making that person like, how do you explain it? So maybe they did something that hurt you, and now you're starting to rationalizing it in your own mind where, hey, maybe it's not so bad. Maybe I'm the one. And then you make their toxic behavior okay. Well, anybody who's doing toxic behavior or treating your relationship poorly, that's not okay. And then stage 4, depression. And I went through that big time, guys. Depression. I was sad. Man, I was hurt because when I love so deeply. When I give my heart to somebody, I give all my heart to somebody. And that was one of the stages I couldn't get out of. Was the sadness, the depression, the hurt. And then lastly, the stages of grief is acceptance. And that's when the stage 5 in the stages of grief is acceptance. And then they don't necessarily have to be in that order if you're going through the grief. You're going through that loss. You're going through that separation. Sometimes you're depressed, and then sometimes you're in anger. Sometimes you're in denial. Sometimes you're in bargaining. And the goal is, if you're in separation with your twin, is acceptance. But right now, I'm in acceptance. Knowing that, hey, I can still love this person, but I'm accepting the fact that I may never hear from them again. I may never hug them again. I may never kiss them again. I might not hear their voice again. I might not, cook a good meal with them. I might not, do a fun activity with them ever again. And it hurts because you're like, man, I really saw a future with this person. And they may have saw a future with you as well. Maybe you were too challenging. So my best advice, guys, and what I've done dealing with this twin flame journey is this. If you believe in that your twin flame is your soul split into 2, that's he or she's the feminine or masculine energy of you or your divine counterpart. By you making yourself a better version of yourself, even if you're not talking to them, you're making them a better version, because telepathically you guys are still connected. So if you're dealing with separation, my best advice is this: let it all go. As hard and people say, let her go, let him go. It's not easy, but don't let them go. You could still keep them in your heart. You can still love them. You can still care for them. You still may want the best for them, even if they were toxic at moments in your relationship or hurt you drastically or done things that went against your moral compass or they broke your trust. It's learning to hold on but let go at the same time. So for me, it's like I love the person that I no longer talk to no more. I love her. I still love her. I still care for her. I still want the best for her. But I can't love someone so deeply that I lose myself. So guys and women out there, don't lose yourself in any relationship. And so one of the things I had to learn again is to love myself. Love myself. I mean, not being in a selfish way, but learning to, because when you're in a twin flame relationship, you tend to drop everything for your twin. You do everything to make them happy. You pour out your love for them. Where for me, when I was dealing with a separation or breakup with my relationship, I started losing myself. I'm a happy-go-lucky person. I'm very positive. I'm very creative, and I started losing what made me me. I started being unhappy. I started like being depressed. I used to sit on the couch, and I used to be a very active person, and so I had to learn to work on myself again and rebuild my heart up to learn to love myself again. And that's what I encourage you guys to do is you got to take, if you're in separation from your twin, it's let go of the idea of getting back together with them. Ooh, that's hard to, what? I got to let go of the idea of getting back, and that's all I think about is getting back together with them. Well, you got to let go of the thought of you ever seeing them again. Because let's face it, there's something in your guys' relationship drove a wedge to you guys. Either you're a higher state of consciousness and they were not in a higher state of consciousness or awareness of the relationship. And you guys you went from being together to constantly butting heads. So in this state of separation, I suggest you becoming the best version of yourself. So maybe when you were in the relationship, when you're starting to inner reflect on it, you weren't the greatest communicator. Or you communicated, but not in a loving way. Well, now it's time to work on yourself. Learn to communicate in a loving way. Learn to look at all the attributes that weren't so positive in you in the relationship and fix them. Maybe you would say never follow through on your promises. So now you got to learn to teach yourself, hey, from now on, I'm going to learn to follow through on my promises. Maybe you didn't speak your person's love language quite right. So maybe now you got to learn to speak your own love language. Speak your truth, so to speak. And guys, I may be rambling on. I'm not an all-knowing guru or master. I'm just trying my best to share what my experiences are. And the ultimate experience is acceptance. You know, if my twin called me tomorrow and said, hey, I want to be with you, would I jump on the bandwagon and be like, yes, I'll fly you out to where I'm at right now and we can start all over? Would I do that? Yes and no. Because as much as you do the soul work, let's just face it, some people don't do the soul work. They want to stay stuck in the pattern of life or that pattern of destruction or whatever they're in, and they don't want to grow. And sometimes in life, you may be growing, you may be learning, you may be learning to deal with your anger or your sadness or improving yourself or making yourself a better version, and your partner is not. And you'll never, and let's just face it, if you do all this work and then they don't do no work and you come together, it's going to fall apart again because basically you guys won't click no more. But the coolest thing is that when you're working on yourself, usually they're working on themselves. But you gotta learn to get to that stage 5 of grief, or stage 5 of loss is acceptance. Or in the stages of the twin flame journey is stage 5, I believe, is surrender. You gotta surrender. Surrender to the fact that, who knows? Now, if they're truly meant to be in your life, you won't have to do anything. If they're truly meant to be in your life, you don't have to do anything. If they truly loved you, if they truly cared for you, if they truly wanted to have a family with you and be in your life forever, You don't have to do anything. They're going to do all the work to come back into your life. That you don't have to chase them. Because at the end of the day, my friends, all you out there, if it's your twin flame, if it's your karmic relationship, or if it's a soulmate or divine counterpart, whatever you label it, at the end of the day, if they really love you and care for you, guess what? They're going to be next to you right now. They'll be coming knocking on your door. They'll be texting your phone all the time. They'll be reaching out. And for those who, you know, you got to ask yourself the tough questions. If they're not texting you, if they're not calling you, if they're not trying to come over and hang out with you or try to build a relationship with you, then you got to get out of that denial or that illusion phase and be like, hey, maybe this person's not my twin. Or maybe they didn't love me. You know, and granted, we all go through phases where sometimes we fall in and out of love with people, you know, and sometimes you got to let someone go to let them, or to learn that, hey, to realize what they lost. You know, a lot of people think the grass is always greener on the other side. Well, sometimes you got to let them be like, all right, you're with me, but you're always peeking your head over the fence, looking at the other side of the fence, thinking that it's, you know, this partner or this situation or whatever is more important, and then you got to let them go. And often they will discover that, hey, I just lost the love of my life, or the person that took care of me and just loved me, wasn't selfish, and didn't want me for worldly reasons, but just wanted me because they truly loved my heart, soul, and mind. And you got to let them realize that sometimes they learn the hard way. Sometimes they have to learn the hard way. And maybe sometimes they won't come back because they're too scared to say, hey, I'm sorry, or they're too scared. Maybe they did something like that was so badly that they think, hey, there's no redeeming this relationship. And it's also us, the people who are like, some people even through my journey, I talk to people who I mentor people, and they're like, hey, I love that person, but I don't know if I could ever let them back into my life. And I understand that, because when you're dealing with separation, you literally feel like you lost a part of yourself, and it hurts. It really hurts. And especially when you do all the healing and you're back on life again, one of the biggest fears is, if I allow this person back in my life, I don't know if I can recover a second time. You can't, you know, dealing with the first heartbreak is hard enough, but then potentially once you heal your heart they want to come back and be in a relationship with you, and you're hesitant because you don't want to deal with another heartbreak like that. So when that comes along, is trust your intuition, trust your soul. You'll know. If your person comes back into your life, you'll know, you know, but you also know by their behavior and their actions. If they're still doing the same toxic behavior before, don't let them back in. But if they've done the soul work, if they no longer do the toxic behaviors, and they're not only saying that they're going to be a better partner, but their actions are lining up, then maybe give it a second chance. But my biggest thing out of this message when you're dealing with a separation is to learn acceptance, and to learn to love yourself and better yourself, become the best version of yourself. You know, that's what I've been doing on this journey. I've learned to look at all the aspects of my own toxic behaviors, or how I deal with a relationship, and remove them. So that even if I don't get with my twin, the next relationship that enters my life, I could be a good, loving partner to that person. I take on good characteristic traits to make a good, loving relationship work. So all you guys out there who are possibly watching this or dealing with separation, I understand. Like it's painful just to think of them, guys. Like, trust me, sometimes, like, I still have dreams of my ex, and it's like I have a dream of them and I can't sleep for hours and I'm in my head and I'm all that pain and hurt has stirred up to the surface. And in the end, you're like, all I want is my person. Because literally, if you just want your person to come and hug you, and it would be instantly healed, you would be instantly healed. But let's face it, this world is tough. And sometimes, if you learn surrender or acceptance, your partner may never come back into your life. Never chase, guys. If they're truly meant to be with you, they will be with you. And that's hard. Where you're like, man, I want to call them. Like I think about my ex all the time. I have moments where I'm like, I want to write them a letter, or write her a letter, and I want to, in that letter, I'd tell her how sorry I am for the mistakes that I've done, or talk about how badly I miss them, or I miss their love, or just miss their smile, miss how our eyes used to lock, miss their company, miss the joy that they brought into my life. And I don't, because at the end of the day, one, my person chose to leave me. I gave her the option to be back with me, and she chose not to fight for me. And that's one of the biggest signs when the relationship is done, when they no longer fight for you, when they no longer do everything in their power to make your relationship a priority, or when they're possibly dating somebody else or seeing somebody else. Well, it's over then. You sit there, you fight for your partner, and then they barely lift a pinky in the relationship. Then you gotta sit there, stop being in stage 1 of grief and denial, and you gotta get to the stage 5 of acceptance and be like, hey, this person's not fighting for me. So why fight for somebody who's not fighting for you? So learn acceptance. People reach out to me all the time, and then guys, be thankful for what you did have, though. And I miss my person all the time, but I'm not stopping myself from getting out there and meeting somebody else. Maybe I will find someone else that will love me the way I deserve to be loved. And maybe you guys will find somebody, once you work on yourself and get in a good place of acceptance, maybe you got to learn to let go possibly of that twin flame and be okay with, hey, and putting yourself out there again to find someone that will love you for you. You should never have to chase. You should never have to beg. You should never have to bargain or plead. If your twin or your divine counterpart is really meant to be in your life, they will be in your life. They will fight for you. For me, if my twin reaches out to me and shows me that they want to fight for me, I'm a loving, forgiving person. I would forgive them. Would I trust them right away? No. But I would open the door a crack to see what they're willing to do to make our relationship work. And if I see that they're actually putting in the hard work and actually giving me the love that I deserve and the care that I deserve, then I would open the door fully and then see where it went. And I would risk that heartbreak again. Because in the end, your twin is you. Their love is your love, and vice versa. I'd rather, it sucks, guys, when all those guys who are dealing with separation, it sucks when you're lonely. It sucks when you don't have your significant other texting you, wishing you good night, or you not waking up in the morning and they're not by your side. It's not a great feeling. But at the same time, what doesn't break you makes you stronger. Me, I look at this, my lesson through this last relationship, and it's like, Yeah, it was tough, but once I fully heal, I'm gonna be 100 times stronger. I'm gonna know what to tolerate in a relationship and what not to tolerate in a relationship. I'm gonna know, hey, I'll know within the first couple of weeks of, hey, this person is truly caring and giving me their love, or if they're not caring and not giving me their love. Is this person fully giving me their attention and affection, or are they only giving me breadcrumbs of their attention and affection? In the end, you have to be okay with losing that person. Acceptance, surrender. I mean, sometimes, uh, so the saying goes, sometimes rejection is, how's it go? Rejection is redirection. So rejection is redirection. Sometimes you lose that loss because then you're redirected in something somewhere else. And then for all those who out there who are watching this, who are the ones who walked away from their twin flame, and you knew somewhere deep down that there was a spiritual deep connection, but you were too busy chasing materialism or pursuing other lovers or pursuing putting yourself and your own needs first, I say this to you. Why give up something great when you're pursuing other treasure, so to speak, what you perceive as other treasure? Maybe it's other people or materialism or your own selfish needs, when you already had such a gift. Me, if I realized what I had, or what of a gift, like if my person is watching this, it's, I realized how special you were, amazing you were, how awesome you were. I loved you for your soul. I loved your mind. And reason I don't need anything else because I knew how amazing, what a gift I already had. So cherish the gifts that you have. Stop looking at the other side of the fence. Stop chasing materialism. Stop being selfish and trying to pursue. Because the funny thing is, you're so busy chasing, those who cause the breakup in the relationship. They're chasing other relationships or their own selfish interests, where and you're chasing after mediocre. So what's the saying goes? You're too busy chasing um, worthless stones when you had a diamond the whole entire time. And I love that saying. You lost a diamond chasing worthless stones. Me, I realized I had a diamond. I knew it right off the bat, but I'm an intuitive empath. My person, I don't necessarily knew if she realized that she had a diamond, what a gift our relationship was. And instead of putting all that energy chasing other meaningless things, and would have, if she just would have turned around and put her energy into our relationship, our lives could have, she could have had an amazing life. I'm a well off person, so to speak. Not so. And it's funny when you see so many people, especially the ones that you let go of your life, and you see them and they're not happy in life, and it's because they were chasing worthless stones when they had a diamond, and all their struggles would have went away. They would have found happiness. Their life would have been fulfilled and complete if they would have just chose to stick with you, and vice versa. Some of us who are highly conscious beings who know that we have a twin flame, sometimes we also lose track of what gift of our partner that we have in our life, and we do things that cause the separation and realize, and they drive that gift away. So my question is this to you guys out there. So did you have a gift and you lost it? Were you the one that drove your divine counterpart, your twin flame away, through your actions, behavior, or your toxic traits? Or were they the one who didn't realize that they had a gift, and through their toxic traits or bad behavior or drove you away? And the coolest thing is, I believe anything's possible if love is truly there. Love heals all wounds. Love heals all wounds, but also you both have to be willing to compromise and allow that love to work. So, biggest thing out of this one, I rambled on, and I don't know if this is going to touch home with any of you guys out there. Learn acceptance. That if you're going through separation, that you got to be okay with the fact that you may never see or hear from that person again, and learn to work on yourself, better yourself. Because I talk about attraction. You attract if you're sad, depressed, lonely, you're a shell of yourself. How are you going to attract your partner back into your life if you are bitter, angry, in denial? No, become the greatest version of yourself, and you may attract your partner back to you. And even if they don't come back to you, you may attract another person back to you. I hope this was helpful. I know it's not easy dealing with separation, especially where it's like that person was your heart, and now your heart no longer talks to you or speaks to you. And all you want to do is make your heart whole again. You know, I miss my person. You know, I'm not gonna lie. You know, there's times where I'll be like, I'll never talk to her again. Her toxic behavior, or what I perceived as her toxic behavior, because what she thought she was doing was normal to her, and to me, I see everything through a spiritual lens, and to me, it was not healthy for me, her toxic behaviors. But do I still love her? Yes. Would I want her back in my life? Yes. Would I put a ring on her finger and marry her? Yes. If all the cards aligned, yeah. But I will never chase. I know what gift I am. Know what a gift you are. And never lower yourself for anybody. And that's not just for relationships. That's for friendships or family members. Never, lower yourself to or belittle yourself for anybody. Either they see how amazing you are or they don't. Now, me, I would love for my significant ex or other to reach out to me. Yeah, I will not. Because I did before. I reached out, I gave her their opportunity, and she didn't take it. And to me, it's her loss. As much as, because I'm not going to linger around. That's the other thing. Don't linger around in somebody's orbit. If they don't see you as the prize, they don't see you as that gift, then it's their loss. And then and if you work on yourself and stuff and move on, you'll end up with somebody who does see you as a gift, sees you as the prize. I wish you guys the best of this journey. I hope this resonates, and if it doesn't, it doesn't. Like, share, and subscribe, guys, and check out my book, Hidden Knowledge, Gained Wisdom. If you guys actually purchase the book, it helps me financially. But it's okay if you don't. Things will come to you when it does, and certain messages or information will come to you when it resonates with you. And if you're not ready to hear certain things, it's not meant for you yet. I wish you all the best. God bless you all. Like, share, and subscribe.